Okay, Assalamualaikum and hello. So this video will explain on the internal environment. So this is the fourth video of 8-part series. So this video we look at on the learning objective number 3, describe the major elements in the internal environment of the company. So this is the first component of the ERM. Okay, so the internal environment is the most important component of the ERM and the internal control frameworks. So the tone or culture of the company and will help to determine how the risk conscious employees are. Okay, if they have a weak internal environment, often it can be result in the breakdowns in the risk management and control. So under internal environment, they have 7 items that we're going to discuss in detail. So the first one is management philosophy, operating style and the risk appetite. The second one, commitment to integrity, ethical values and competence. The third one is internal control oversight by the board directors. Organizational structure, methods of assigning authority and responsibility. Number 6, human resource standards that attract, develop and retain competent individuals. And the last item is the external influences. Okay, so we look at on the first one, management philosophy, operating style and the risk appetite. So the organization that has philosophy or shared belief and attitudes about the risk, okay, that can be affect everything the organization does, whether long or short term, and also can affect their communications with the employees. So the companies, they have a risk appetite, which is the amount of risk that company is willing to accept. So in order to achieve their goals and also the objective, alright. So this philosophy, okay, must be clearly communicated to all the employees in the organizations. Alright, the more responsible management philosophy and operating style, the more clearly they are communicated, the more likely employees will behave responsibly. Okay, so the board and top management, they have to set the proper tone at the top so that they can demonstrate through their actions. Okay, and also they can support, they support on the integrity and necessity of the strong internal control system. So the management philosophy, operating style and the risk appetite can be assessed by answering question. Okay, they have 3 questions here, such as does management take undue business risk or assess potential risk and reward before acting? Okay, the second question, does management attempt to manipulate performance measures such as net income? And the third one, does management pressure employees to achieve result regardless of methods, or do they demand ethical behavior? So those questions, they can be asked, okay, that can see whether they have related on the management philosophy, on their management operating style and also their risk appetite. Okay, so the next item, okay, is the commitment to integrity, ethical values and competence. The management must create an organizational culture that stresses integrity and commitment to both ethical values and competence. Okay, so the companies endorse integrity as the basic operating principle by actively teaching and requiring it. Okay, so the companies also, the management, okay, should avoiding any unrealistic expectation or incentive that motivate dishonest or illegal acts. Okay, and then the management also should consistently rewarding honesty and giving verbal labels to honest and dishonest act. Okay, developing a written code or conduct that explicitly describe honest and dishonest behavior. Okay, requiring employees to report any dishonest or illegal acts and disciplining the employees who knowingly fail to report. And the last one, making a commitment to the competence. So the management, okay, should have this all example of commitment to the integrity, ethical values and competence, because this very important to create the organizational culture and also to stress on the integrity and commitment to the both ethical values and competence. Okay, the next one is internal control oversight, okay, by the board of directors. Okay, so an involvement of the BOD will represent shareholders, okay, and also they will provide an independent review of the management that can be as a check and balance on their actions. Okay, so this BOD also must have okay, so most of the public companies, okay, they must have the audit committee that composed entirely of the independent outside directors. So this audit committee will oversee on the company's internal control structure, their financial reporting processes, and also whether the company comply with the laws, regulation, and standards. Okay, and then this audit committee we must be hiring and overseeing also the external and internal auditors. So the auditors will report any critical accounting policies and practices to this audit committee. Right. Okay, and then the next element is the organizational structure. Okay, so this organizational structure will provide overall framework for planning, directing, executing, controlling, and monitoring the operations. So the important aspects of the organizational structure include the centralization or decentralization of the authority. Okay, that's the first one. And then also include assignment, the direct or matrix reporting relationships. Okay, organizational by industry, or it can be by product, geographic location, marketing network. Alright, and then also it can also structured into how the allocation of responsibility affects the information requirements. Okay, whether the structure is according to the accounting, auditing, or the IS functions. Okay, and also depends on the size and nature of the company's activities. So all these aspects will give impact on the nature and the type of controls that will be used. Okay, for example, in today's business world, the hierarchical structure are being replaced with the flat structure. Okay, whereby in the hierarchical structure, there are layers of the management who supervise others. Okay, so they have somebody that supervise the works of their subordinates. Okay, but this already being replaced by the flat structure because of the emerging of the technology. They can access any of the data, they can have sharing information. Okay, so this flat organization is the self-directed work teams that make decision without needing multiple layers of approval. So in that case, it can give impact on the type of control that the company will be used. Okay, depends on this organizational structure. Okay, then the next one, the 5 elements in the internal environment is the methods of assigning authority and responsibility. Okay, so under this element, the authority and responsibility are assigned through formal job description. Okay, so the management should make sure the employees understand all the entities' objective, and then the authority responsibility for the business objective is assigned to the specific departments or individuals, and also they need to encourage the employees to take initiative in solving the problems. Okay, and holds them accountable for any to achieve any objectives. Okay, so it can be assigned through formal job description, or it can be also give training to the employees so that they know what are their responsibility and their authority. Okay, and also can be through operating plans, schedules, budgets. Okay, code of conducts. So normally code of conducts, they will define any ethical behavior. Okay, the acceptable practices regulatory requirements or any conflicts of interest. Okay, so they have to make sure the employees have know all those code of conducts. Okay, and then also need to have written policies and procedures manual. So in this manual they will have a good job reference and also job training tools. It can be also as a job training tools. Okay, and then the next element is the human resource standard. So human resource standard is they have among the policy and procedure that have under this human resource standard is hiring. Okay, so this is involved on in obtaining the most qualified and ethical employees. Okay, so of course normally the companies will hire the employee that have the a good educational background. Okay, they have relevant work experience. Okay, and then the companies also can do the thorough background check on their candidates. Okay, to know their educational and work experience, can talk to the reference and so on. So they need to have a standards how they're going to hire the employees. Okay, and then the second one related to the compensating, evaluating and promoting. So it is also important to know that the company, okay, they must pay the employees a fair and competitive wage. Okay, because the poorly paid employees are likely to feel resentment and can make up the difference in their wages by stealing the money, property or both. Okay, like we already discussed, referred to the fraud triangle, whereby they have discussed on the financial pressure. So the financial pressure can lead to the fraud. Okay, then also they need to have a standards related to the training. So training is any programs that familiarize the new employees with their responsibility. Okay, and also they know the expected level of performance and behavior. And also they can give trainings related to the policy, the procedure, the operating style, and the importance also they need to give the training related to the fraud and ethics to their employees. Okay, then the next standard under human resource is managing disgruntled employees. So the these disgruntled employees actually okay can apa nama ni, this is number 4. Okay, because some employees, okay, who commit fraud are more to seeking revenge, okay, for the perceived wrong done to them. Okay, so hence the company should have a procedure for identifying these disgruntled employees, and then they need to help them to resolve their feelings. Okay, for example, they can give counseling to the employees. Okay, and then it can also remove, okay, the disgruntled employee remove from their job. Okay, that can maybe they can might harm to the organization and also can perpetrate fraud. So they must have the standard, okay, the policy how they're going to manage disgruntled employees. Okay, and then number 5, discharging. Okay, so they also should take care when they firing the employees, discharge the employees. So this is also need to do because they need to prevent any sabotage or copying in confidential data before they leave. Okay, so example, they need to change the password access immediately, okay, after the employees being discharged. Okay, and then also remove from the sensitive job immediately. Okay, so those are the example of standard, okay, that must have to handle on the discharging. Then number 6 is vacation and rotation of duties. This is because this kind of standard actually they can help in the to prevent the fraud scheme. Okay, because many fraud scheme, for example lapping and cheating that we already discussed in the previous chapter, they require ongoing attention to the perpetrators. So when they need to they force the employee to take a leave or vacation, or maybe they can have rotation of duties. Okay, they can Okay, so many of these employee frauds can be discovered when the perpetrator is suddenly forced or they need to take time off. All right, and then the next one, confidentiality agreements and fidelity bond insurance. So this is where the employees also involve the suppliers and contractor. They should be required to sign and abide by the non-disclosure of confidentiality agreement, and also they can take insurance, okay, fidelity bond insurance. And then number 8, okay, so this is the last one, okay, under internet environment. So this is where the prosecute and incarcerate the hackers and fraud perpetrators. So most of the fraud cases and hackers, they attack go unreported and are not prosecuted. Okay, some of the reason is because the companies, they are reluctant to report the computer crimes and intrusions. Okay, and also because of the law enforcement officials and the courts are so busy with the violent crimes, so there are not more concerns on these fraud cases. And other reason is because the fraud is difficult, okay, costly and time consuming to investigate and prosecute. Okay, so they need to have those standards. Okay, so this is all under human resource. Okay, under human resource that they need to have a policy, okay, to all these elements under human resource. Okay, and then the last elements under internet environment is the external influences. So external influences includes the external laws and regulations. Okay, so for example include Financial Accounting Standard Board, FASB, Public Company Accounting Oversight Board, FACAOB, the Security Exchange Commission, and also involve the insurance companies and others agency, okay, regulatory agency, for example bank, utilities, and so on. Okay, so those are the 7 elements, okay, that we discuss under internal environment, that the first component under ERM, COSO ERM framework. Okay, so with that I thank you for the end of the learning objective number 3. So on the next video we're going to continue learning objective number 4. Thank you.